The debt payoff order that saves you the most money. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to David Invests. If you are new here, this channel is about one thing: helping regular people understand money, build real wealth, and stop making the quiet mistakes that keep most people financially stuck for years without ever understanding why. No jargon, no complicated strategies designed for people with finance degrees. Just honest, practical information that works in the real world for people with real salaries and real bills. And if you have been following this series, you already know the crew. Chris, the delivery driver in Phoenix, Priya, the hospital administrator in Dallas, Raymond, the teacher in Memphis, Keisha, the office manager in Nashville. Regular people on regular incomes doing the right things in the right order and slowly building something real. Today's video is about something that affects almost every single person watching this, and it is something that most people get completely backwards, not because they are careless, but because the advice they have been given is incomplete. The topic is debt, specifically the order you pay it off in, because most people treat all debt the same. They look at everything they owe, feel overwhelmed, and either throw money at the biggest balance or the smallest balance, or just make minimum payments on everything and hope for the best. All three of those approaches leave serious money on the table, and I am going to show you exactly why and exactly what to do instead, with real numbers and real examples that make the difference impossible to ignore. Let's get into it. Before I get into the strategy, I want to make something clear. Debt is not a character flaw. It is not evidence that you are bad with money or irresponsible or that you made terrible decisions. For most regular people, debt is simply what happens when income is not enough to cover everything life costs, especially early in a working career when income is lowest and expenses feel highest. Student loans for an education that was supposed to lead to a better life. A car loan for a vehicle you needed to get to the job that pays your bills. A credit card balance that started small during a tight month and grew quietly while you were focused on other things. Medical debt from something you did not choose and could not afford. These are not moral failures. They are financial realities for millions of people. What matters is not how the debt got there. What matters is the order you attack it in once you are ready to get serious about paying it off. Because that order has an enormous impact on how much you end up paying in total and how quickly you reach the other side. Let me introduce you to two new characters in today's story. People who know Chris and Priya from their neighborhood and have been watching their financial progress with a mix of admiration and motivation. Meet Andre, 31 years old, works in IT support in Atlanta, Georgia, makes $54,000 a year. Andre has been carrying debt for about 6 years and has finally decided he is done with it. He sat down last month and wrote out everything he owes for the first time ever, all of it, in one place, on one piece of paper. Here's what Andre's debt looks like. Credit card 1, $3,200 balance at 26% interest. Minimum payment $64 per month. Credit card 2, $1,400 balance at 19% interest. Minimum payment $28 per month. Car loan, $8,500 balance at 6.9% interest. Minimum payment $210 per month. Student loan, $14,000 balance at 4.5% interest. Minimum payment $145 per month. Total debt $27,100. Total minimum payments $447 per month. Andre has $600 per month he can put toward debt after covering all his essential expenses. That gives him $153 per month above his minimum payments to deploy strategically. Now meet Vanessa, 33 years old. She works as a graphic designer in Charlotte, North Carolina, makes $51,000 a year. Vanessa has almost the identical debt profile as Andre. Same total balances, same interest rates, same minimum payments, same $600 per month available for debt repayment. Same starting line, same monthly budget, same total debt. But Vanessa and Andre are about to take completely different approaches to paying it off. And the difference between those approaches over the next several years is going to be thousands of dollars and months of time. Let me start by walking you through the two most common debt payoff strategies you have probably already heard of, because understanding both of them and the trade-offs between them is essential before I show you what I actually recommend. The first strategy is called the Debt Avalanche. This is the mathematically optimal approach. Here is how it works. You list all your debts from highest interest rate to lowest interest rate. You make minimum payments on everything, and you throw every extra dollar you have at the highest interest rate debt first. Once that is paid off, off, you roll that payment into the next highest rate debt, and so on down the list until everything is gone. The debt avalanche minimizes the total amount of interest you pay over the life of your debt payoff journey. It is the most efficient approach from a pure numbers standpoint. If you follow it perfectly, it will cost you less money than any other method. The second strategy is called the Debt Snowball, popularized by Dave Ramsey and widely recommended. Here is how it works. You list all your debts from smallest balance to largest balance, completely ignoring interest rates. You make minimum payments on everything, and you throw every extra dollar at the smallest balance first. When that is paid off, you roll the payment into the next smallest, and so on. The debt snowball is not the mathematically optimal approach. You will pay more in total interest than you would with the avalanche, but it has one enormous advantage that the math does not capture. It gives you quick wins. Paying off a small debt completely, seeing a balance go to zero, creates a psychological momentum that keeps people going. And research consistently shows that people who use the snowball are more likely to stick with their debt payoff plan long enough to complete it. Both strategies work. Both are dramatically better than making minimum payments and hoping for the best. The question is, which one is right for you, and whether there is a smarter approach that captures the benefits of both. Here is where it gets interesting, because Andre and Vanessa chose different strategies, and the results tell a very clear story. Andre heard about the debt avalanche and decided to follow it. Mathematically optimal. Attack the highest interest rate first. His highest rate is the 26% credit card with $3,200 on it. So he threw his extra $153 plus the $64 minimum, a total of $217 per month, at that card while making minimums on everything else. It took Andre about 16 months to pay off that first credit card. 16 months of attacking one debt while the others just sat there. For 16 months, nothing changed except one number slowly going down. No cards paid off, no visible wins, just grinding. Around month 10, Andre started to feel like it was not working. The other balances were not moving. His overall debt number was barely budging because the balances he was not targeting were just sitting there collecting minimum payments. He started losing motivation. He started skipping the extra payments some months. He started thinking maybe he should switch strategies or take a break. He pushed through, but it was hard, and not everyone does. Vanessa heard about the debt snowball and decided that was her approach. Smallest balance first, regardless of interest rate. Her smallest balance is credit card too, the $1,400 card at 19% interest. So she threw her extra $153 plus the $28 minimum, a total of $181 per month, at that card while making minimums on everything else. Vanessa paid off that first card in about 8 months. 8 months in, she had a zero balance on one card. She felt it. She celebrated it, not with spending, just with the quiet satisfaction of seeing that account show a zero for the first time. And that feeling carried her forward. She rolled the $181 she had been paying on that card into her next target, the 26% credit card, bringing her monthly payment on that card to $245. That card was paid off in another 14 months. By the time Andre finally finished paying off his first card at month 16, Vanessa had already paid off 2 cards and was well into her third target. Now I know what some of you are thinking, but Vanessa is paying more in total interest because she is not attacking the highest rate first. And you are right. Over the full course of her debt payoff, Vanessa will pay slightly more in total interest than Andre would if he stayed perfectly consistent with the avalanche. The key phrase there is if he stayed perfectly consistent. Research on debt payoff behavior consistently shows that consistency matters more than optimality. A slightly less efficient strategy that you actually stick with beats a perfectly efficient strategy that you abandon halfway through by a wide margin, every time. So here's what I actually recommend, and it is not purely one or the other. I call it the hybrid approach, and here's exactly how it works. Start by identifying any debt with an interest rate above 20%, if you have any, and credit cards are almost always in this category. That debt is costing you so much that the mathematical case for attacking it first is overwhelming. A guaranteed 26% return on every dollar you put toward that balance is not available anywhere else. Attack that first regardless of the balance size. Once anything above 20% is gone, switch to the snowball. List your remaining debts from smallest to largest balance. Make minimums on everything and throw every extra dollar at the smallest balance. Collect the psychological wins. Build the momentum. Let it carry you through the longer middle stretch. The hybrid approach gives you the mathematical advantage where it matters most, the extremely high rate debt, and then gives you the psychological advantage for everything that remains. Let me show you what this looks like for Andre and Vanessa with real numbers. For Vanessa, following the pure snowball, total time to pay off all $27,100 of debt with her $600 monthly budget, approximately 52 months. About 4 years and 4 months. Total interest paid over that period, approximately $6,800. For Andre, following the pure avalanche perfectly, total time approximately 49 months. About 4 years and 1 month. Total interest paid, approximately $5,900. The difference between the two strategies, if both are followed perfectly, about 3 months and about $900 in total interest. That is the real-world gap between the mathematically optimal approach and the psychologically sustainable approach. 3 months and $900 on a $27,000 debt load, much smaller than most people expect. But here's the thing, that comparison assumes both of them follow their strategy perfectly for 50 plus months without ever losing motivation, skipping a payment, or abandoning the plan. And the research suggests that is not how it actually plays out for most people in the real world. The person following the snowball, collecting wins along the way, seeing balances hit zero every several months, feeling the momentum build, is significantly more likely to make it to the finish line without quitting. The person following the pure avalanche, making minimum payments on everything while grinding at one large, high-rate balance for a year or more with no visible wins, is more likely to lose steam somewhere in the middle. A strategy you finish beats a strategy you quit every single time. Now, I want to talk about something that comes up constantly when people start seriously thinking about debt payoff. And it is a question that paralyzes a lot of people for a long time. Should I pay off debt or invest at the same time? The answer is, it depends. And I want to give you a clear framework for making this decision for your specific situation rather than a one-size-fits-all answer that might not fit you. Here's the framework. If your employer offers a 401k match, capture the full match first, before extra debt payments, always. 100% match is a guaranteed 100% return on that money. There is no debt interest rate on earth that beats a guaranteed 100% return. Capture every dollar of the match before you put a single extra dollar toward debt. If you have debt above 10% interest, after capturing your employer match, focus on debt before additional investing. The guaranteed return of paying down high-interest debt beats the expected but uncertain return of investing. If all your remaining debt is below 7% interest, consider splitting your extra money between debt payoff and investing. At these rates, the math is close enough that the psychological and flexibility benefits of investing alongside debt payoff often outweigh the pure mathematical case for debt first. If your debt is between 7 and 10%, this is the gray zone. Your risk tolerance, timeline, and how the debt makes you feel emotionally are all legitimate factors in the decision. Andre and Vanessa both have high interest credit card debt above 20%. For them, the answer is simple. Attack that debt first before any extra investing beyond the employer match. The guaranteed return of eliminating 26% debt dwarfs anything the market is likely to return over that same period. Chris, remember, already made this decision correctly. He paid off his $4,200 credit card at 24% in full before putting extra money into his Roth IRA. That decision freed up $84 a month in cash flow and immediately improved his financial position in a way that showed up in the math within months. There is one more concept I want to cover today because I think it changes how people feel about their debt in a way that actually helps them attack it faster. The concept is the true cost of debt, and most people dramatically underestimate it. When Andre looks at his $3,200 credit card at 26% interest, he sees a balance, a number, $3,200, and paying it off feels like getting rid of $3,200. But that is not the true cost of carrying that balance. The true cost is the interest it generates every month he does not pay it off, and the opportunity cost of the money he is spending on interest instead of building wealth. Here's the math. At 26% interest, $3,200 costs Andre roughly $69 in interest charges every single month he carries that balance. That is $69 per month that goes to the credit card company. That is not reducing his balance. That is not buying him anything. That is simply the price he pays for having borrowed money at a rate that most people would never agree to if they stop to think about what it actually means in dollars per month. $69 per month over 10 years. If Andre had invested that money at 10% instead, would grow to approximately $14,000. He is not just paying $3,200. He is paying the interest on $3,200, plus the opportunity cost of every dollar of that interest for every month he carries the balance. The true cost of that credit card, if he carried it for several years while making minimums, is not $3,200. It is several times that. Running this calculation, sitting down and actually doing the math on what your high interest debt is truly costing you in real dollars per month and an opportunity cost over time, changes how urgent the debt feels. It changes how motivated you are to attack it. It makes a $3,200 balance feel like what it actually is, not a manageable inconvenience, but an active drain on your financial future that deserves serious attention. Let me give you the action steps for today. Action step 1, write down every single debt you have, balance, interest rate, minimum payment, everything, in one place. Do not skip anything. Do not round down. The complete picture. Action step 2, identify anything above 20% interest. That becomes your first target regardless of balance size. Throw every extra dollar at it while making minimums on everything else. Action step 3, once everything above 20% is gone, list your remaining debt smallest to largest balance. Switch to the snowball. Attack the smallest balance with every extra dollar. Collect the wins. Build the momentum. Action step 4, confirm you are capturing your full employer 401k match before extra debt payments. If you are not, adjust your 401k contribution to capture the full match immediately. That is always step 1. Action step 5. Calculate the true monthly cost of your highest rate debt in actual interest dollars. Look at it. Let it motivate you. Use it as fuel every time you are tempted to skip an extra payment. Andre is going to figure this out. He is going to adjust his approach, pick up some psychological wins along the way, and cross the finish line on his debt somewhere in the next 4 years. And when he does, he is going to free up $447 a month in former debt payments that he can redirect entirely into his investment accounts. $447 a month, fully invested at 10% average annual return over 25 years, which gets him to age 56, grows to approximately $580,000 from debt payments, money he was sending to creditors every month that will eventually go to work for him instead. That is what the other side of debt looks like. Not just relief, not just breathing room, a complete redirection of cash flow from building someone else's wealth to building your own. Vanessa is on the same path. Chris is already there. Priya never had the high interest debt to begin with, and her investing is compounding quietly in the background. The order matters, the strategy matters, and actually sitting down, writing it all out, and making the first extra payment matters more than any of the details I shared today. You cannot optimize your way out of a plan you never start. I'll see you in the next one. And as always, if this video gave you clarity on something that felt confusing before, hit subscribe. Every week I put out one video about the money moves that actually matter for regular people building real wealth. No fluff, no filler, just the stuff that moves the needle. Hit subscribe and I will see you next week.